action. So, welcome to episode 8 of Happy Fun Music Time podcast. This is a special quarantine podcast about music. I'm here with William, Christopher, Devin, and Santiago of the Montreal, Quebec band Lost Lighthouse. How are you guys doing today?
Really good, man. Thank you for having us.
Very good.
Pretty good. Very good.
Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. How are you? How are you guys handling these crazy times?
I've been going to my cottage a lot with my parents, my brother, walking the dog a bit, practicing a lot of piano, some drums here and there.
Wait,
trying to stay active.
Who's speaking right now?
Will. This is Will.
Well, okay. So
this
you play
Will.
piano too.
Yeah. Drums and piano. But I'm the drummer.
Okay, hold on. Okay,
Yeah.
everybody stop talking, all right? I'm going to do something right now. Okay.
All right.
First of all, let's establish who's here right now.
Yeah.
So we have William Barbieri. Is that the correct pronunciation of that name?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
And you are a drummer and a keyboard player, as I just heard. Is that true?
Well, I'm mainly the drummer, but piano is kind of my second instrument.
Okay. Well, percussive side of the band. That's great. And then we have Christopher Delilah. Is that correct? That's cool. Okay, and you play the lead guitar in the band.
Lead guitar and very occasional backing vocals.
Okay, backing vocals leads me to Santiago, the lead vocalist, rhythm guitar. Is that correct?
Yep. You got it.
Cool. And then finally, there's Devin on the bass. And Devin, why don't you say hello so I know what your voice sounds like?
Hello, that is me. I play the bass.
Okay, cool. So we've established who the four of you are now. Now I want to ask a question. I'm looking at your Facebook bio right now, and I will read a piece of it. It says Lost Lighthouse is a Montreal-based 4-piece prog punkcore group.
Oh wait, Alex.
What?
Alex.
Yes.
Is there any way you could turn your mic down a bit?
Oh, here, I'll just talk I'll whisper. Okay, okay, I'll move away from the mic. I'll move away from the mic to breathe. Okay, here. Is this better? Less loud?
That's pretty good. Yeah. Just stand a little further away, maybe.
Okay,
your level
cool.
is like peaking. All right, perfect.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting too hyper here. Okay, but I want to ask, and I'll direct this to Santiago, and then if anyone else wants to chime in, go for it. What is prog punkcore? I've never heard of this before.
That's sort of part of the joke, I guess. It's basically a joke because the longest time people asked us, what kind of music do you guys play? Because we were for a very long time just a pop punk band, but then we started sort of getting influenced by more of the prog side of things, and we're all jazz students, or we're jazz students, so we also have a sort of an influence from that sort of side of things with trying to experiment with polyrhythms and with different harmonic structures than what you're used to listening to. So at the end we didn't know how to explain it, so we just came up with this really, really dumb title, I guess, for the genre that you play, which was a prog punk or prunk.
Prunk, I like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's I think that's better than like doing the we don't know how to label ourselves kind of thing. Like just come out and like give us a title, So I like it.
And the other question here is, so you guys said that you're bringing influence from you're all jazz musicians and you're all trying to bring in prog. I mean, what prog bands, what kind of jazz bands are you guys listening to? We can go down the line. I mean, William, as the drummer, a fellow drummer here, I'm curious, what kind of influence are you bringing into the band?
Devin and I and Chris, we listen to a lot of Rush.
Yep.
We're big into Rush. So definitely the Neil Peart and Mike Portnoy Dream Theater kind of prog. I kind of try to get that into our punk music. Also a lot of Yes, ELP, bit of King Crimson here and there.
Okay. So straight, like
Gentle
a lot of like classic
Tool.
rock bands.
Yes, that's a
classic
good way
ones, and
of putting
I'm
it.
trying
I
to
would say.
get more into the moderns too, like Spock's Beard, Attic, even
Oh yeah.
a little bit of even a little bit of extreme. Chris really got me into those guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love them too.
Extreme.
Oh, fair enough. That maybe kind of like I went and listened to your, I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, the Heterochromia EP that you guys
you got it.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Did I
got
get it? Okay.
Nailed it.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, but just like kind of piggybacking off the sort of like introducing jazz and prog things. Like you guys sort of you had some songs kind of with extended run times. You know, some guitar soloing. I heard some kind of like ghost noting, polyrhythmic stuff on the drums. Like when you guys like said that, like I got that vibe when I listened through the EP. So like that's for sure. Like the prog punk core thing, like it really fits.
Cool.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing to me, and whoever wants to weigh in on this can weigh on it, but combining prog and punk seems to me a pretty tough thing to do, and it's interesting you guys have been able to pull it off. I mean, because punk almost comes off as the eschewing of technical prowess, right? It's almost it's intentionally raw, it's intentionally unlearned, whereas prog is the opposite. It's very concerned with technical minutiae and perfecting the parts. And so I'm curious as to when it came to establishing this sound that you guys are playing, was it a conscious decision to merge those two very disparate musical identities, or did it just kind of happen? And whoever wants to weigh in on that one, go for it.
I think it was just really like a combining of all our musical tastes that kind of sort of formed the style.
Yeah.
Like if you look back on a lot of our influences, like for me, my biggest pop punk influence is Green Day, and then my favorite band is Rush, and those are like the two bands I grew up listening to. So that kind of fuses that a bit. Santiago was also big in like the pop punk stuff, and then Will and Chris were like the prog stuff, and kind of putting all that stuff together, we kind of influenced each other, I think, in a sort of way that kind of combined the style that we now play.
Definitely, I feel like it really comes just from just us people, like what we listen to. But I feel like it has also to do with just being, sort of studied musicians, because we're very. I feel like the sort of the punk part comes from just the passion of the music, but the more jazzy, the more prog side of things is just us, learning a lot of things in music school and just wanting to apply all those things to our music. Wanting to make something more interesting than just the typical, 1, 5, 6, 4 chords, the same chord progressions, the same sort of rhythms. Doing something more interesting while retaining that sort of just raw energy from punk.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, speaking from my own personal sort of just what I was raised, it wasn't much of that punk scene at all, and much of what I enjoy about this band is the willingness to just like, I don't know, I guess the fearlessness to try merging all these weird, because we very obviously, as you just heard, pretty eclectic, very four corners apart type of musical tastes going on, and like it's just it's the result of that is this really almost twisted thing that is almost hard to even use the word punk to describe, but that's what keeps it fun. At least for me, I really enjoy it. So. Yeah,
and you know what? Like from my listening, at least, like it sounded very natural, like and it didn't sound like any other band, like really directly. Like if I had to think of bands, like I maybe heard a bit of like some kind of old school Fall Out Boy and Coheed, maybe, but still different from that. Yeah. I heard a bit of that, but still, like even like through all the instrumentation, there's sort of there's more sort of like jazz and prog influences going on. So I don't know, it was a unique listen. I enjoyed it.
Because it's also interesting because we have the stuff we grew up on, like all the classics that we listen to, but then we also all study jazz too. So it's like you have to stay to your roots, but then every once in a while these new things creep in because we're constantly learning and evolving as musicians.
Mm-hmm. So did you guys meet at school, like when you were all learning jazz? Was that
we all met at Vanier. Like Santiago actually started the band before any of us were in it.
Oh, okay.
And then I joined the band I think like 4 years ago, and then Chris and Devin came about a year later, and we've been together for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
With this lineup.
Cool.
You'd have to
2.5
ask
years.
Santiago though. What is this, Mark II or Mark III Lost Lighthouse? Technically, I don't even know.
Yes, I think you could call it probably Mark III, I suppose. We went through a bunch of people before we finally just sort of settled on you guys.
Is this
We had
your
sort of
favorite
a-
iteration?
Absolutely, by far, man. Like this, I feel, because here's the thing.
That's the
first-
correct answer, by the way.
Sort of, yeah, both just in general and politically, I have to say that. No, but the first group that we had, it was very much pop punk, and the thing is, it wasn't serious enough. You know, it was just three guys. It was just the drummer, another guitar player. We didn't even have a bassist. Another guitar player and myself. But they weren't really serious enough about the band and about the music. So eventually, we just ended up ways with them. And then we went through sort of the second stage of the band, where it was just like a slew of different musicians and changing the music completely. And eventually they also grew, it was just not good enough. It was just there was not enough talent of the other players, not to insult anyone.
Fair enough. You wanted the music to be like as good as you could make
Exactly.
it, right? So
Exactly.
yeah.
And I feel like that's why it works so well with these guys, because for me, I feel like I'm very good at the creative side of things more than the just instrumentally as a singer or as a guitar player. But they are all amazing at their instruments, so they just sort of take my ideas and they just bring it to a ridiculous level,
Oh yeah,
That's
when I
feel
heard the
like how it
EP,
works.
like everyone's parts, like there's always moments like kind of from each instrument, like the vocals that stood out to me, So there was a bit from everybody.
And so, Santiago, are you the one writing the songs, or is it a collaborative thing?
It's a bit of both. I would say I'm definitely the main songwriter, but it's not like I do everything by any means, It's usually more of I'll write sort of the skeleton of the song,
Yeah.
put it in a way.
You're the
well-
sparker of ideas, is what I would
Exactly.
describe you as.
That's a very good way to put it, yeah. So I'll come up with something really basic, just rhythm guitar and some sort of melody or some sort of rhythmic idea, something that I want to explore, some new thing that I'm trying out, and then I'll just bring it to the rehearsal room, and then it'll be like, all right, what are we gonna do with this? And then we just bounce off of each other until we have something
Right, and all
that
your
we
parts
really
and
really
everything.
like.
We did have one song though recently that was pretty much entirely like everyone did a collaborative.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah, everybody had a take on how the song should go.
so
Which one was
Like
that?
a
Out of
musical-
curiosity.
Cool.
it's not on the EP. It's
Oh,
the one we've
okay.
been working out in the rehearsal space before COVID shut everything down.
Yeah.
So I haven't played in a while.
Have you guys have you been able to sort of write anything or like sort of like prepare new music as a band? Like, is there anything you guys are doing now that everyone's quarantined?
What we're trying to do now actually is just because we can't physically see each other because of COVID.
Yeah.
I can't have the guys come over in my basement and resume our original music we've been working on. We're trying to do some covers of some bands we like. We're gonna record them at our own houses.
Oh, okay.
And send them to Santiago, and he's gonna put it all together.
Oh, so you guys are
Ah.
going to record covers and
Yeah.
upload them then?
Yeah,
What kind of covers are? Can you give a spoiler or any kind of hint?
Kind of varied, I suppose. Same as with our music in general. It's gonna be a lot of stuff from either prog or punk or that sort of thing. The first one's gonna be really really weird. But yeah, I mean it's just sort of an excuse for us to keep playing together. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah. Now, so you said you've been through a few lineups. So Krusty and I played with you guys. It would have been in 2018.
Yeah.
Do I have that right? I think that's right. Around July. I think it would have been July of that year. Were you guys all in the band at that point?
I think
Did we
they were.
meet all of you guys?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
This lineup was established in 2017.
2017. Okay, awesome. So we have seen.
Yeah.
So I've seen you live then. So I've seen your show. We played at Crowbar,
Yeah.
which that's not around anymore, right? That venue's gone.
I believe
I
it's
think it's,
still, maybe it's I've been
I
hearing
think
some
I've-
things. Maybe it's still there at the moment, but I haven't been too up to date with what's going on. But I feel like you are correct in saying there's something up with that place at the moment. But I don't know if it's completely gone yet. I could be completely making all this up, but I feel like I've heard some things.
I just gotta interject and like comment on Crowbar. Like that, it's like a sweet venue, but like it's the worst load-in of all time with those stairs.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
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 Yes, those
It's
stairs,
so
man.
small.
Yeah, it's so like narrow, like really
like
steep stairs. Like,
And back there.
It's in many ways the coolest and worst venue.
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a total sweatbox. Like
Yeah.
really, it's hot in there, and not only the load-in, but where you have to put your gear. I remember there was like
Yeah,
a
that.
tiny back room.
It's like
right?
Yeah, actually
gotta-
playing the show with you guys,
basically
that was
like
a
you gotta
fun time.
scatter it around the.
Yeah.
Which band were you guys?
We were in a band called Kill No Albatross at that point.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that was
Yeah.
sick. I remember that show.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that
that was a
Yeah.
fun time with you guys, and I remember seeing you guys, and I thought, wow, there's a lot of potential. I mean, you guys were tight. You had some stage presence. Santiago, you're authoritative on stage. You had this stamp when you were playing the guitar that I still remember. It was very impressive.
Thank you. I try.
And in fact, frankly, it was all the better because there was this other band on the bill, and I believe I have this right, called the Scarecrows, who showed up 10
Yeah.
seconds before their set, and
Oh yeah, I forgot
that
about
was
that.
great. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my god, man.
yeah. So that wasn't cool.
And then funny enough, we did a Halloween show there.
Oh really?
Oh no way!
How'd that go?
Yeah.
It was
With,
great. It was
We should have.
terrible.
Yeah.
We were dressed up as pumpkins. As 3 pumpkins and Spider-Man. And it was the hottest freaking costume you have ever seen. It was, yeah.
Yeah, in costume at Crowbar. My God, you didn't pass out. That's terrible.
I feel like not many people can say that they know for a fact that it is not a good idea to try to play a gig while wearing a Spider-Man mask. It doesn't go well.
Oh my God! We did a Halloween show in Guelph, and
Yeah.
some rabid fan wore a Gumby costume, and I thought that was insane.
Well, that was nuts.
Yeah.
I had to
Oh,
take the
man.
Morty mask off while we were playing.
Yeah, that's right. You were Morty. I forgot. Oh man. So anyway, so you guys, you put out this EP Heterochromia. What are you planning on doing? Like, I mean, I know it's COVID right now, but do you have any you're doing these covers? Are there any post-COVID plans that you have in the works right now?
Yeah, funny you mentioned that. We had a ton of plans. We had this big show planned for months that we were gonna do April 20 something, 18?
4th.
I don't remember.
4th, yeah.
4th.
Oh my god, not even close, man.
I tried. It's been too long, guys. Yeah, but we're gonna have this big show to raise funds, and we were gonna go in the studio. We're gonna record an album.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So a full-length album. So is that like 10 songs?
we're looking at 13.
Nice.
How long is that going to take you guys to do 13 tracks?
Oh wow.
Yes.
I would imagine.
So,
gonna-
do you guys have
It's gonna take some time.
Yeah.
do you guys have most of it written now, or like what's the deal with that? Like, how far is it into completion? Like, just the writing aspect of it.
We've written most of it.
Oh,
There's
okay.
some songs that are kind of like we've written most of the songs, so
Nice.
Say about 10 maybe that we've, or 9.
yeah,
Probably around there.
I think
that
we
are
had
pretty much finished.
something
probably
like
like
8,
10.
just full that we know that we're done and we could go in right away. And then we had like 1 or 2 that we're still sort of working on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but pretty much we were ready. We were ready to go in and start recording the whole thing.
Fair enough.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So for your new album, like you guys, like you're into sort of like your progressive music and everything. You're into like trying new stuff and integrating it into your music. Was there like any sort of new aspects in one of the songs, like something you've never done before, like in a song on your full length that you'd want to share with us? Like, was there any like really cool moments? Like, did one of you like rap or something? Like, I don't know. Like, that's just a stupid example, but.
That's a great idea.
I mean,
do a rap now, guys.
As I was mentioning earlier about the piano,
Yeah.
there's some like kind of like, you know, artsy fartsy, if you want to call it, contributions that piano, maybe something classical.
So you played some
to-
piano on some of the songs.
Like, you know, take it. Yeah, I was planning on it kind of, and maybe like take some of the themes from the songs that we've been rehearsing, and incorporate it into this composition that I wrote.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
That's cool.
Like, kind of like a piano medley.
Piano, exactly. Yeah.
Medley kind of thing.
Yeah,
Will's-
very classical way too.
Yeah.
Will's the best piano player in the band, but since he's playing drums, you know, it's like he kind of has to do that first. But for the record, it's going to be like the piano's going to be him.
Well, you
It's
just
like
put, you
an
put a little
understatement, by the way.
synthesizer
He's the
behind.
best by a mile.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it's not even close.
Thankfully, there are overdubs. He doesn't need 4 arms.
Yeah.
So, is there a concept to the album, or is it just a collection of 13 songs and, you know, that's that?
Yeah, it's more of a collection of songs. I don't feel like there. I mean, like there might be sort of a connection between 2 or 3, but not over the entire album. Not exactly. I wouldn't say. You were gonna say something, Chris.
No, I was curious what you were gonna say because man, these songs are pretty, a little all over the place. I don't know what
Yeah.
I'd answer that question, but
Yes.
And
But I feel like that's in general with the same thing with our music. Like if you look at the EP, you listen to the first song, you listen to the third one, you listen to the fifth one. You probably couldn't tell it's the same band. Like
yeah,
it's all
exactly.
very, very different. And there's some very, very different songs in the album. There's gonna be some stuff that is more on the poppy, really chill type side, and then there's gonna be really just kind of heavy with screaming metal type stuff. And there's gonna be the punk stuff, so it's all sort of within the realm of rock, I guess, but very, very different songs.
How about lyrically? Is there a lyrical theme that's being woven throughout the album, or is each song about a distinct topic?
Nothing in particular. Nothing really. I mean, for me, it's really about. I have a really hard time, sort of going back on things. For me, it's something whenever I write lyrics, I'll sit down and finish in like an hour or 2. I'll never go back to do editing or that kind of stuff. For me, it's a very of the moment thing. So once the song is done, it's kind of its own little package, and that's sort of just the way that I work with lyrics. So I wouldn't say there's no bigger connection other than it's just we are playing the songs and they're our songs.
Fair enough.
Cool.
Do you guys have an album title, or is that secret?
Yeah, no, not really.
No, we haven't discussed that really.
We haven't really. I tell him, brings a song in. He has all the lyrics, but he hasn't named it yet. So it's called the C# song, the
C#
G song, the heavy song.
Sometimes we just.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that sometimes we just like if Santiago doesn't find the name, we'll just give it one, like Will was saying, and then that's the name. And then if he doesn't like it, it's like, no, you took too long. It's too bad.
Give me deadline.
Working
I have
titles
a
are the
deadline
best.
on naming shit, or they just take over.
I think we've had similar experiences, Alex.
Naming stuff is the hardest part of
Yes.
being in a band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
I don't
about
write
the
songs without names.
You need a name to write a part.
Unless your song 2 Blur.
Yeah.
I don't know. I name everything. Like, just if I change it later, that's fine. But like, it can be called like the pee pee poo poo song. Like, it has to have some kind of name. That, just so I remember what it is. Like,
I find it hard to change the name of something though once you've actually named it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Devin, I think if you started with a name like the Pee Pee Poo Poo song, you'd be pretty eager to change it. So
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
That's actually like
BB song.
no, that's actually a good strategy if you to have a good name for your song. If you name it you name it something you know you could not stick with, it forces you to change it later.
yeah.
Oh man. But I want to ask about COVID. I mean, so you guys are not practicing. Are you guys like, how are you handling it? I mean, are you worried about venues at all? Like, my biggest worry is the shutdown of venues. There's not going to be anywhere to play after stuff opens up again. What do you guys think about that?
Definitely. That I feel like,
Yeah.
there's probably going to be venues that are just not going to be able to open back up, especially the smaller ones.
Yeah.
So absolutely, that's a worry. For us, I mean, once everything is open again, I feel like we're just gonna get back together. We're gonna be rusty, but that's it. It's more of the larger social impact of the whole COVID thing that is gonna be a problem afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because
yeah.
we're not. It's not like we play like like the bigger bands that we like that are always in the stadiums. We're kind of more like. Definitely, the bars are going to open before the stadiums. So,
Yeah.
I try to think optimistically, but not at the same time, not naively,
Mm-hmm. What's the current status in Quebec? Because we're in Ontario. I think
Yeah.
it's a little different. I mean, what's open for you? Like, can you guys bubble in your houses? Can you gather in groups of 5 or something? Like, what's your status right now?
I believe the last I heard at least was they're, as of I think it's maybe just like a week ago, they've started allowing gatherings of supposedly no more than 10 people and from no more than 3 different households, which don't ask me how they're enforcing that, but hey,
Yeah.
that's what they're going for.
Well, hey, now
That's
local
what-
bands
yeah,
can play
that's
again.
correct.
Like,
Hey,
Oh, I
you
mean,
know,
it has
Could
to be
do
outdoor.
outdoor gigs.
It has to be outdoor.
if you're 3-piece legally, you're allowed to practice.
yeah. I only
we
kid.
would
I only kid.
literally have to practice outside if we were to do it. You have to be 2
Yeah.
meters apart and still outside with those other
Yeah, yeah,
guidelines that Chris mentioned.
Yeah,
Wireless gear, baby.
yeah.
Yeah,
Electric drum set without an amp.
Electric drum set, like
No,
Bluetooth
basically-
signal.
Yeah. Or
Oh,
just
man.
like take some branches and some tree stumps.
Yeah,
You
just
could do a
go-
whole album like that.
Yeah, go back to the
Kind of
Stone
like
Ages.
you could do that like found percussion stuff that Fiona Apple just did.
Yeah.
And we could make an album.
And like
Yeah,
John
I
Bonham
mean,
recorded a Ramble On some special drums.
there you go. Have you guys heard Bone Machine by Tom Waits? He does that too. There's lots of very odd percussion on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know what I want to say. I do know what I want to say. I have another question, and that is, how the heck did you come up with Heterochromia as an album title? That's like an eye coloring thing, right? That's like when you different color eyes, something.
And the
Yeah,
fifth track is called Wide Eyed as well. So that.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
it's also
Coincidence?
completely
Yeah.
not connected, but yeah. So the whole thing with the heterochromia. First of all, yes, it's basically a condition where you have the iris of one eye of one color and the other iris from another color. We kind of ended up just making just one eye for the cover and put 2 colors on it. Whatever, it's technically not, but doesn't matter. But it was basically because what we were talking about before, where all of the songs are very different from each other. And they're all sort of, the concept of it is they're all different colors, so that's what it is, right? There are different chromia colors, so each song is a different color that makes a part of the whole album. That's the EP, sorry. That's sort of the thought process behind heterochromia.
So kind of like the different influences you guys have all sort of
Yeah,
And that works
put
too.
together. Yeah.
That's cool. And so, are you when you're writing the song or playing the song, are you consciously thinking of colors? Because that's kind of cool. If you're saying like this is the red song, this is the green song, or whatever.
Yeah, I kind of think of Brand New Day as the blue song, and The Calling of the Time Traveling Comet as a light blue song. Sunset is more red song because it's an angry song. Burnout, black song because heaviest song on the EP.
Yeah.
Wide Eyed is kind of more like on the kind of like the blue, more of a blue, darker shade of blue. Every song in the key is blue for me.
Just different shades.
Why didn't we call it Shades of Blue? Yeah.
50 Shades of Blue.
Hey, Mood Indigo. Mood Indigo.
Yeah, do a Mood Indigo cover. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I think of colors specifically when I'm writing, but I do associate colors with them afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of in the same way that you know what Will was saying, but I definitely do associate colors with them afterwards, and it's pretty much what Will said, to be honest.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well. Actually, for me, colors are massively important when it comes to actually exactly what Santiago said. Not like I can't ever really do that as I'm trying to accomplish something, but if I'm just listening to like absolutely any music, especially the colors associated with the album art is like they're so important for me. They're constantly swimming around in my head as I'm listening to whatever music goes with a certain album cover. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's the same thing. You know, back when I would buy CDs. I would look through the booklet. I would read the credits. I would look at the art, and I feel like that's kind of lost now with streaming, right?
Yeah, it
totally.
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not interacting with like physical media as much, so it kind of takes away from the imagery a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is that something that you guys are conscious of? Are you going to put out a physical version of your records at any point? Is there a plan to do something like that?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. I think it's what you just said is very true. Like just associating the image with it, it's something that is really cool, and it's the way that we listen to music. Really, you know, like these guys have huge collections of vinyl and shit. So I feel like for us, it's not perhaps the best financial decision because you can probably spend the money elsewhere. But it's just it's our music. We wanna do the things that the artists that we love do at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if this was about finances, we wouldn't be playing music. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So
For a starter,
Yeah. Oh man, are there any bands you guys want to rip on? I like asking that question.
Like famous bands or just like
Anyone.
local bands?
Or
Anyone?
Anything. Any bands you guys are like annoyed with or you think are overrated or whatever. They could be famous. They can be. Maybe you have a beef with a local band. We can air it out right here.
We're trying to turn this into like a gossip segment. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous.
Well, the guy from he wasn't really nice about a couple months ago.
Wait, who did you say?
Who?
Trapped.
Oh, Trapped. Oh, good. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's it.
Trapped, man.
he's just been
Their
causing
Twitter.
beef with everybody.
Yeah. I like to think it's only for attention, but I actually think he believes what he's saying, and that's the sad part.
I saw.
Yeah, I definitely believe.
I saw he posted like he did like the All Lives Matter thing, right? Or like Blue Lives Matter or something, and someone just commented with like a screenshot of his house from like Google Earth.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Then the comments are just like, is that actually where he lives? And then like other people like, yep, I'm pretty sure, like just full take up of his address. Just,
Oh man.
damn son, like
The thing about Trap too is like they were never good, right? I mean, I'm not. You guys agree with that?
They
Yeah.
had one.
They only
song.
had like one hit
Yeah.
Yeah,
on their first album.
Headstrong, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Headstrong. And it
well,
stopped
it's
there.
just if you, I can only like you only really like Trapped if you're like a really big nu metal fan, and then even then like you have your Slipknots, you have your old school Corns, like
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Yeah,
Limp
but they were-
Bizkit even. There's
yeah.
better new metal bands. Like,
For sure, but they were I don't even know, they were more almost like a Theory of a Dead Man or a Nickelback, like a very radio rock kind of
Yeah.
very bland to me, and
Oh,
there was
fair.
nothing unique about it at all to me. I mean, if anyone wants to defend Trapped, I mean, please go for it. But God,
No.
Nope, we're good.
I don't even know
Oh,
anything
man.
about them, so that's.
yeah, I never
consider
really
yourself
bothered.
lucky.
Yeah, I didn't really know anything, and like the frontman just started ripping on everyone on Twitter. It's just, oh my God, Trapped has so many more views on whatever, you know.
Pandora.
Pandora, as if
Yeah,
anyone uses
Pandora. That's
Pandora.
what he was bragging about. How many people listen to the new Pandora?
Who's on
I know.
Pandora?
You know he's out of touch when he's like Pandora. You like judging his success by Pandora listeners. Like,
Who's
Yeah,
like?
and he was calling out like My Chemical Romance or some shit like that. He was like, oh, they don't have as many Pandora listeners.
yeah, because their
What?
fans are under the age of 65. That's why they don't have that many Pandora listeners.
Man.
Man, that's ridiculous. Oh my God. Well, okay, so there's Trapped. Any other bands you guys hate?
How about the fantastic cover of About a Girl by Puddle of Mud?
I mean,
Puddle of Mud.
Oh yeah, there's
Everybody see that one?
Is it the
No, I
singer of
don't know
Puddle of
about
Mud like an absolute train wreck of a person now? Like,
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's been kicked off a few
Wes
stages.
Scantlin.
that's rough. And
Yeah.
I don't know. For the longest time until recently, I thought Trapped and Puddle of Mud were like the same band. Like,
Actually similar, true.
that falls in like the same
And
niche of bands.
Stained.
Yeah, they're
Stain, yep.
that's the same band too. That's just three
Yeah.
different.
Aaron,
We're
Oh.
literally
I watched videos of Aaron Lewis, and he's really not a good frontman. He always walks just because like people are making too much noise in the crowd. Like, I watched a bunch of Loudwire videos where he's like, the crowd doesn't shut up, he doesn't play.
Oh God. Can I? I'm gonna air out a grievance right now. Like, I fucking hate Loudwire. Like, it's so. It's just every day. It's just
hate
they talk about
Loudwire?
Slipknot. Like, yeah, let's
right.
shout out Loudwire right now.
we need a sponsorship.
Oh, sorry, I just lost an earphone right now. There we go.
It's okay. You were just ripping on Loudwire.
Yeah,
Don't worry
yeah.
about it.
Yep, all fixed. Yeah, so every post they do is either like about Slipknot, Corey Taylor, or like some like legacy post about Linkin Park. Like, I followed them for a while, but it just got rough, and it's just or it's what's that Corey Taylor side project? Stone Sour.
Stone Sour.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like the only thing they cover, and it's just like I'll just go follow those bands. And I don't even hate Slipknot. Like, it's just I don't know.
Oh yeah, it gets repetitive. I mean, to get back to Lost Lighthouse for a second. I mean, do you guys have any ambition to be signed to a label? Is there some kind of goal you guys are trying to hit, or are you just kind of doing it for fun and seeing where it goes?
I would say it's not. I wouldn't say the objective is a label anymore. In my opinion, I think the music is just going more and more towards just being independent artists and having as much control of your music as you possibly can. So the project is definitely serious. We definitely want to make something big out of this, as big as we possibly can. But I don't think finding a label is, I don't know. I mean, it's something that we haven't really discussed. I don't know if you guys have different opinions, the guys in the band. But for me, I feel like it's just not the way to go anymore. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
Fair enough.
we are trying to make something as big as possible with this.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, yeah, I kind of agree. We're not in a rush to get signed and get famous. We want to make good music. We want to make good music that people are gonna listen to and dig.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to
So-
put all our eggs into a hole and then because we're pretty young. We're all in our 20s and we have a lot to live for, and we just want to enjoy what we do.
For sure. But so
Have fun with music.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. You want to make the music as good as it can be, and that's the right attitude. The music should always come first. But then the question becomes, if a label comes knocking at your door one day, because you guys are good, you're unique, you have a good stage presence, you have a sound that is marketable on some level. If I don't know, say, Pure Noise Records or whatever comes to you and says, hey, we want to do an album with you. Is that a no because of you think you're better off staying independent, or does it depend on what kind of contract they want to do? Is that something you would ever be interested in?
Yeah, I think it would depend on
That's
the
exactly
contract.
it. It depends on the contract. If they want to sign us and then they're like, we're gonna do like 5 records or something. No way. It would have to be a good deal, something where we really feel like we will still have creative control of what we're doing. That we really feel like as distributors, they're gonna put our music in front of enough people for it to be worth it, for us to give up, part of our claim to the music. And ideally, it'd be a short enough contract that we can test the waters first before making any long-term decisions with any label.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right.
A lot of
like,
a lot of the deals, that the record labels offer, like you basically you have to relinquish a lot of your control over the music, but you're trading that sort of a promotion, for a promotional platform, right? So I don't know. Is that would you guys be okay with sort of giving them full control of what happens to the music and where it goes, sort of to reach a bigger audience, I guess?
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's tough. There's always pros and cons to it, right?
Yeah.
I think the bottom line is that we're not saying that right out of the gate there's a definite no to all of that, but it's like anything that any opportunity like that comes up will have to be thoroughly considered, I suppose.
Yeah.
I would say it would be worth considering, and that's why I mentioned that it's important, very important, if the contract is long or not. Because say, for example, we get offered, a 1-year contract, and they take pretty much everything. They own the rights, they own the master, they own everything. But after that year, we're free to do whatever we want with the attention that we have gotten from that deal. Then I feel like it would be very much worth considering doing it, even if we don't have
the original music
over the music afterwards. It just kicks, just using it as a stepping stone so that we can then take control of our music and use the whatever audience we gain from it to keep moving and keep growing, keep making music.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, because there could be some strategy involved. What if you in order to reach a larger audience, not just me spitballing, by the way, and you can tell me if I'm crazy, which I am, but you could sign a contract, give away all your creative freedom, become a huge famous band, and then after you've exploited that label for the opportunity, and your band is the biggest band in the world, then you put out the experimental jazz avant-garde records, right? Why not? That could be like a long-term strategy.
I mean, that's kind of pretty much it, man. I mean, once you have the attention of the people, we don't need to be in front of millions of people. Have you heard? I don't know if you've heard about what people say about the 1,000-fan rule.
The 1,000 what rule?
The 1,000-fan rule.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
what is that?
So
basically, the 1,000-fan rule is you need just 1,000 people that support absolutely everything you do, that buy every song, that buy merch, that go to your shows, and you're good. You don't need more than that in order to live out of your music, So it's if you think about it, 1,000 people is not that much. So if you get that deal with the label, and maybe it sucks that you don't have control over the music or whatever, but after that you have the reach to, let's say, 1 million people, and then you put the avant-garde jazz whatever experimental album, maybe 1/10 of the people are gonna keep listening, but that's more than enough. That's more than what you need to keep making music and just live out of what you're passionate about. To me, that's worth it.
I think it would be good because, if you get signed to the label, that's where you would make your money if we reach a large audience, and then if you get out of that, you're able to, do and branch off and not have to worry about money, and just worry about your own creative process at that point.
The hardest part is to get hurt, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Cutting.
I would say the hardest part is a combination of yes, getting heard, but also if your true passions lie with, a certain vision that may have to be compromised for the sake of being accessible to those fans, that's also somewhat of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it all depends how are you willing to work, another job and kind of and stay as true to the vision, and knowing that might compromise your ability to make a career out of it.
Right.
Is that bearable for the artist?
Yeah, but there's always those people who are like, okay, I want to start a band, and maybe right off the bat, like, there's nothing I'd rather do than just make avant-garde jazz. Like those people might have a bit of a hard time.
Well, yeah, believe me, I know.
Yeah.
It's it's totally true. It's just it's always interesting for me to hear from bands about what the priority is, right? Because the industry is changing so much. It's so, especially God with COVID now. I mean, who knows? But I just find it always interesting to hear about the inner politics of the band.
Right. Sure.
So yeah.
I had a question actually. So we talked a bit, signed to a label and sort of this 1,000 fan rule and like marketing, I guess. This is a marketing question. Like, so you guys are a band, obviously. That's why we're on a podcast. But what I don't know, what sort of stuff do you guys do to market yourselves? Like, I don't know, is there anything unique or just anything at all that you guys? What sort of promo strategies do you use?
Should I take it?
Go for it.
Anybody. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah. Go for
I
it.
feel like that's very much what we're working on, and what COVID has forced us to start thinking about much more.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really do that much. So, for example, one of the things that we've discussed doing with the album is we would record an album and we would, eventually put it all together as one package, but we do not plan on releasing it as an album.
So you put it out song by song.
Yes, basically. That would be the way to do it, because you gotta stay active as much as you can on social media and to try to keep people's attention. So if you only have one thing to show, every 2 years, sure, you're gonna get some attention for, a month or so, but then you got nothing for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Whereas if you record the album and you release song by song, you're gonna get the same attention, because people are not gonna listen to the full album. People are gonna listen to one, maybe 2 songs, and then they're gonna move on to the next thing. The attention span of people is super, super short.
Yeah.
So you might as well just put out one song. Hopefully that gives you enough attention so that everyone's gonna wanna listen to the second one. And you keep doing that. You just keep releasing one song by song, and by the time that you're done releasing the album, you already started recording the next one. You're already halfway, through the process. So you always have something to put out there. You always have something to keep people's attention on you.
You know what? That is a really good idea. Because that's, I mean, for me at least, like I like EPs, I like albums, I like collections of songs. Just
same.
Because I'm a musician, you're a musician. That's how we are, right? But that way you have a constant stream of content for your fans to indulge in, and then you sort of also have it as a package, as a full album at the end, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that I don't know. What do the rest of you guys think of that?
Totally agree. Yeah,
I think it's a good idea.
Go for it.
Yeah, we should releasing like the tracks that we like, the bunch of tracks that we recorded, like we will have recorded, I should say, for this album. We should release it like in like spurts, like release this song and then like 3 months later release that song, and also like consider the music video for it, because when we did after recording we had the video for Sunset, and we wanted to shoot that before releasing any music.
Oh, okay.
And so that always keeps our audience, entertained and always like wanting more. Releasing it all at once after releasing it's like, you're showing all your cards.
Yeah, and then there's no guarantee people are going to engage with all of it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of like a snake trying to swallow a whole steak, in front of him, instead of like take small bites.
Yeah, fair enough.
How do you guys decide what...
Oh, sorry, you go ahead, Alex.
I was going to ask, how do you guys decide what order to put out the songs in? Is it just the order you want them on the album, or is it different order that you put out the songs and the album is ordered differently than you release them?
I think it could be either way, really. We haven't discussed what order we would release the songs in, but unless we had something very specific, like if we had, I don't know, some sort of song that we wanted to release, like around Christmas or around, Halloween or some special sort of moment, where it makes the song relevant. I would say it doesn't really matter, just as long as you're putting stuff out there. I don't feel like the order would really matter. So yeah, I guess the order that the songs are in the album would make sense.
Yeah, I would agree with that, just because it's my own opinion again, but I find that you always hear about people listening habits, like you consider yourself to be a quote unquote song person or a quote unquote album person. Like I'm definitely like way to the album person extreme. Like the order of songs in an album is so massively important, and it's like the whole album is a completely different experience to listening to just one song off the album. So it's like I'm also like it's tricky, because I almost feel like releasing songs as singles, which will then be assembled in an album, if you release the songs as singles in the order that you want them to be on the album, it's almost like you're beginning as early as you possibly can to cement the order that you want the fans to absorb that music in properly from the get-go. So it's just, I say personally, I would lean more towards the album order myself, but that's just my own taste. Like I'm definitely an album person.
Yeah, I think we should, release the songs that we think that are the strongest before releasing the album as a whole.
Oh, dissenting.
No matter order.
I think I agree with Chris. I kind of like having the album have it tell a story and have it the way you want it to flow from beginning to end. Just from the get-go.
It makes sense, because eventually we're going to sit down and we're going to have the discussion of what is the order going to be for the songs in the album. And there's going to be reasons behind it. There's going to be reasons why we want this song after that one after the other one. So, if that's what we want, the order in which we want people to hear them, releasing them in that way makes sense.
Fair enough.
Cool.
I guess that inspired another question. For Heterochromia, was there any reasons that the tracks were ordered the way they were? Like, did you guys have any reasoning for that?
Yeah, for sure. For example, I would say, the guys probably have different reasons of their own, but for me, I wanted to finish with Wide Eyed specifically, just because that song I felt like it had such a sort of epic feeling to the ending that I thought that's what I want to hear at the end of the album. That's what I want, if someone listens to the whole thing, I just want that to be the last thing that hits their ear before it's gone. Brand New Day had a really sort of mellow opening, and we thought it would be a really nice song to start the album with.
Yeah.
Although,
Originally we wanted Burnout to be the opener.
That's interesting.
But then because
keep going.
But we thought that Brand New Day had a much better intro, because it was just the guitar, and then all the instruments come in, kind of like a big crush.
Yeah.
Into the EP.
Fair enough.
It's like it starts on a very light note and then ends with that massive riff at the end of the album on Wide Eyed. So it's a pretty big contrast between the beginning and ending, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, Wide Eyed had sort of a bit of kind of the rest of the songs in a way, had heavy moments, soft stuff. It was a good. I thought that was the best option for a closer.
Yeah. It's almost like a closing overture, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else was I gonna ask you guys? I gotta pull up my list here.
I'm drinking bubbly. Sorry.
Oh, fair. How's the bubbly, Alex?
Priority.
Oh, it's blackberry. It's so good. Are any of you guys drinking anything right now?
I was drinking ginger ale earlier, but I finished it.
Nice.
Ginger ale's good.
Yeah.
No one's
Nice.
alcoholic. No one's
Nice.
getting drunk on a Monday night.
Not at the
I gotta
moment.
work tomorrow. That's just for
You guys ever-
Tuesdays.
Do illicit substances inspire any of your music? Are you huge potheads or anything like that?
We're really not into that stuff.
Not at all.
We
Haven't
say that
smoked, never
stuff.
smoked a cigarette.
Squeaky clean.
in
These
my
guys
life.
don't even drink, man. At all.
I have a bit. I drink a little bit actually.
Yeah, and you get drunk after half a beer.
We're not the biggest party kind, you know. We kind of like after the gig, we never drink before gigs. That's kind of like the
That's a rule, yeah. For
unwritten
sure.
rule we
That's
have.
good.
And then after, most of us are driving, and so we won't drink. And Chris, I mean, you could say this for yourself, but he just doesn't usually drink anyway. He just
Yeah, I'm a squeaky clean little boy.
That's good, man. Keeps your head clean.
No, that's good though. That's good.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever. It's not for any reason other than it's just like not enjoyable for me. You know what I mean? It's the only reason I could put behind it.
Man, you don't need another reason other than that. If you shouldn't
Yeah.
do something you don't like that's
For sure.
No, totally fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
Like
Chris
I
will
never.
have a ginger ale after the show, and then it'll be good, right? Chris?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
You got it.
Or a juice or
Yeah.
something.
No, yeah.
Like-
Ginger ale's my extreme.
It's a long
Like-
show. I need my fucking apple juice. Yeah.
We've definitely used our drink tickets to buy juice before. Like
Yeah.
that's definitely happened.
Yeah.
I remember.
Like to the.
Alex and we played a show in Brantford. It was at All Stars.
Yeah.
Sort of, kind of, I'll say like intimidating looking bartender woman. I think I just turned 19 and like I ordered a fucking beer or something, and the woman just looks at me, glares at me, and says, "Not a fucking chance. Like, let me see your ID." Just
Oh
got
my
this
God,
look like I look like I'm
think it
12
was-
or something, you know?
That happens to me all the time. And I think it might have been the show that we did with you guys actually at Crowbar.
Yeah.
Because I just got my hair cut and I completely shaved, and I think Will went up to get a beer, and I think my parents went up or whatever, and Will got his, and then I went up and I was with him or whatever, and he didn't get carded and I got carded immediately because they just looked at me as like, you look like you're 15. Like, what are you trying to do here?
Wait, wasn't that the show where Chris also cut his hair and it looked like we were all 15?
Yes, it was that. It was that exact same show.
Ah, yeah.
I think I
Was
think
it,
even you got
Chris cut
haircuts.
his hair for.
No, I just look like a baby.
Chris cut his hair for
Yeah.
the Mademoiselle show that year.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah,
Oh man.
Anyway,
well, that's I remember when we were playing shows like before we were 19, and they kick you out of the bar, and then like you get to go in just to play your set, and then they kick you out again after. That's
Yeah.
good times.
at least they let you play.
Yeah. Do you guys play in any bands sort of before you were 19, like when you guys were minors?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was in a.
Yeah.
I was in a Green Day cover band with some Vanier friends. One of
Oh,
my
fair enough.
friends. I was also in a jazz group, jazz fusion.
Oh, nice. Did
We
you
were called the Mod Squad.
the Mod Squad? Why is it called the
Yeah.
Mod Squad?
We just
Wasn't it like?
it was kind
I
of
mean,
like a classic, vintage name.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Wasn't it more
Yeah.
like you guys just played like you were all at Vanier and you just practiced in mods all the time, so you called it the Mod Squad or something?
I
That
thought
was,
it was the same. Oh, yeah, there you go.
yeah, that's I kind of forgot. I forgot all about that band. So it's,
Did you guys cover
Yeah,
Brain
that's what
Stew
you do.
in the Green Day cover band?
I was in a
We
Green
did
Day
that,
cover band
actually.
too, actually.
A different Green Day
their,
cover band.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were both with the same guy, but at different periods, which is kind of funny.
So there was one guy that was in two different Green Day cover bands.
Well, he's like the biggest Green Day fan like you'll ever meet, and I was
Yeah.
with one with him back in like 2015, and then Will did one in like what 2017.
And he had a couple more after that. I'm pretty
Yeah, 2016.
That's like his thing.
It was like,
So he's potentially in
What time it
4
was-
different Green Day cover bands.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeez, I don't think I've ever been like a bigger fan of anything. That's pretty wild.
What's each of your guys' favorite Green Day song?
Oh my God. Oh, that's so
I
hard
don't
for
know,
me.
man. I don't know.
I've heard like them all. Like,
Something off the Father
I
of all
like the stuff
motherfuckers,
on,
of course.
Oh no!
I haven't even listened to that yet. I haven't even listened to that.
No, no way.
yeah, it's a.
Yeah,
It's a
there's no. Yeah, there's no Swedish songwriters on that one. Oh man, I
features, no
personally,
dubstep. Sorry, you go.
I think American Idiot is still pretty fun. Like I think that album is kind of like hated on unfairly a lot of the time.
I love that album. I've grown to
I agree.
appreciate it even more as I've gotten
I
older.
like 21st Century Breakdown.
That one's really good too.
Really good too.
I think my favorite
I-
track from American Idiot though is definitely Letterbomb. I love that song.
That's really good.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good deep cut off that one.
Yeah.
Letterbomb, Extraordinary Girl, Give Me Novocaine, what's her name? All the
What's
The
Her Name
deep
I love
cuts.
too. I
What's
love
Her Name
What's
is
Her Name.
amazing.
It's my second favorite probably.
Yeah.
What about early Green Day? Do you guys like
Oh.
early Green Day?
Who wrote Holden
Dookie Big
Caulfield?
Time. I have a.
You didn't know that one?
That
off
was getting
like the
so
first
excited, man.
It's the second one. It's like
Oh,
like
okay.
off Kerplunk. It's called Who Wrote Holden Caulfield, and that's like one of my favorite Green Day tracks.
Oh, fair enough.
It's like super underground. Like it's
Well, the answer is J.D. Salinger. I mean, come on.
yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah. I don't know. On this podcast we tend to deep dive into band discographies a lot, so I tend to be the one to bring up the obscure like, oh, what's your favorite like deep cut off this band's third album type questions.
If it's with Green Day,
That's
I can
true.
do it. I don't know about other bands, but
What's each of your favorite band? That's a good question. So Santiago.
that is way too.
One band. You can only listen to one band for the rest of your life. What band is that? Oh, and
Yellow
you can't
Card.
Oh, Yellow Card. Okay.
Yellow Card.
So what's your favorite Yellow Card album? Favorite Yellow Card song?
Album When You're Through Thinking Say Yes. I think it's amazing.
Ah,
That is
Even
a really
though
good one.
Ocean Avenue is like the most amazing thing, I really like that one. And then favorite song, I would probably say Only One is amazing.
only one. That's
Yeah.
a good one. Yeah, Yellow Card's great. I liked Southern Air a lot too. I thought that
Southern was really
That's a
good.
good one.
Yeah. What about you, Devin? We'll go with Devin next. He's on my list next.
Oh,
on the
cool.
call. Favorite band?
favorite band is definitely Rush.
Okay.
I've been in. They was like the first band I really got into when I was like 12. It's pretty much because of my dad. But are you looking for favorite albums and favorite songs? too?
Yeah. Favorite Rush album. Favorite Rush song.
It's really tough. Favorite album? I'm always torn between Permanent Waves and Hemispheres.
Right.
And then favorite song? Like they have so many songs. It's so hard
That's
to
a
choose.
hard band to pick from. Like,
Yeah,
Big discography.
I gotta
so-
go with Farewell to Kings for my album, but I couldn't pick a song.
I love
Yeah.
that one album. Yeah, I don't know if I can
That's
pick a
that's good
song.
one.
I mean, I love Red Barchetta a lot. Like that one definitely like, you know, I always feel something whenever I hear that song. Like I'm
This
trying
is,
to
by
think
the
of
way, such a common discussion in the practice room. Like, it'll have Rush will come up, and then they'll just have to discuss for like a good 30 minutes while we fuck up, like what the best album is and how much they love each of their albums.
Yeah.
It's important, man. You gotta back
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. Well, Rush is a band that they have a lot of material and they're legendary for a reason. So it's tough to pick one song.
Yeah. so many albums.
And
Yeah, like
Chris,
19
what about you?
albums.
Favorite band?
Ugh, this is such a painful question, man. This is I guess I would go if we're going like now. What band just continues to inspire me the most, or like just nostalgia purposes of just like what band has been with me like the most important to me? for the longest period of my life, those are probably going to be two different bands. But like in recent years, it's pretty consistently been like Extreme has been ultra high up there for me.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys know anything by them that isn't More Than Words, but they do have other songs.
I have to go listen to that. I haven't really listened
really
to
into Graffiti and Three Sides.
Yeah, they're like stupidly good, underrated songwriters that like all they're known for is a love ballad, but the 99% of their material is just like this crazy cool like mixture of like, you know, almost like a funky metal, ultra percussive, like crazy tight. I don't know. It's just really fun music that's just really, really well written and ultra percussive and just cool syncopated, like just intelligent songwriting, and I really enjoy it. And just
cool.
It's just specifically, you know, if I'm focusing on inspiration for guitar, that's like ultra high up on the list for me.
What's your favorite song
It's
by
just
them?
so annoying.
Sorry?
It's just so annoying that they're only known for More Than Words. Like,
Yeah.
it's like it frustrates me so much. Like when I mentioned the band, like, oh yeah, they wrote More Than Words. It's like, oh, they don't sound like that. They really don't sound like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. William, did you concur with that pick?
Yeah.
Or you were agreeing? I
Yeah,
heard.
I've been really into Extreme these days because of Chris.
Yeah.
Also, I would say, like, if I were stuck on an island and I had to pick like one band to listen to for the rest of my life, it would be a very hard-fought battle between Rush and Dream Theater.
Yes. Yes. Good. Also good.
Dream Theater. What's your favorite Dream Theater album?
I would say probably Images and Words, or
Good pick. Good
Nice.
pick.
Yep.
But the astonishing, of course, though. Like,
Oh god.
6 degrees of Inner Turbulence.
Oh man. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
another good
that's
one.
great.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
also a good one. We have played a show with Chance LaBrie, the son of James LaBrie.
No
who
kidding. That's
Funnily,
crazy.
funnily enough, lives in Hamilton, Ontario, the same town as me, and has a band called Falset, who, yes, opened for Kill No Albatross. So we have. I really wanted to ask him about Dream Theater. He looks like James.
Wow.
So I was like, but you could tell like he gets it all the time.
Yeah, you don't
and
want to go
he-
up to him and be like, "Hey, man, like, what about your dad?"
Yeah, I know. It's like
What
so
about me?
awkward. It's the most awkward. So I just avoided the subject. I was like, "Hey, like, how's it going?" And didn't say anything. But like, it was like we knew it was one of those situations. Like he knew I wanted to ask, so there was like this tension the whole time. Oh god.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was fun times. I don't know what they're doing now, but probably nothing. Along with the rest of us COVID-stricken people. Anyway, cool. Okay, that's everything I had on my list. Crossy, do you have any other questions here?
Well, I wanted to ask because like I've never heard of Extreme. Even,
Okay.
like, I didn't even know the single. Give me like 3 songs between you guys. Like, what should the first song be that I listen to?
Okay, so the I guess you could say the other maybe hit that isn't More Than Words is probably Get the Funk Out.
Ooh,
Alright.
yeah, that's really good. That one's really
Yeah.
good.
Devin, you want
That's a
to
good
give him one?
I mean, I think my personal favorite is Color Me Blind, but pretty much anything
Yeah.
from Porno Graffiti or Three Sides to Every Story is absolutely amazing. Like,
I'm an
almost,
album
like,
guy. I might just pull up the album.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the thing. Yeah, okay, you're an album guy. Good. So they have 5 albums. Okay, you
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
listen to albums 2, 3, and 4. That's all you need to know.
I've typed that in. Nice. All right.
You will not regret it.
Perfect. I'm always trying to check out new bands
Porno
and stuff. So.
Graffiti. Yeah.
Oh, very
like,
nice.
I don't know. The guitar player in that band is one of the most like technically proficient guitar players in like rock I've ever seen and heard in my entire life. Like, I don't know if you agree with that, Chris, but
Yeah, it's just no one blends funk with hard rock to any degree close of what he does. Like it's weird because when you listen to it, it's just like they marry so well together, and yet like no one sounds even remotely close to how they sound. Surprisingly, it's just weird to me. But
They don't sound like Primus at all, do they?
Well, okay.
That's
like,
one of the
they
bands
don't-
that comes to mind when I think of funk and metal.
Yeah, no, I could see why. Like, there's a certain like yes, I mean they're not polar opposites to Primus, but Primus has definitely more of a weird. They're just like a weird.
They're
quirky,
weird, yeah.
Yeah, maybe less of that, but the funk element definitely.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I always thought, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I always found Extreme a little bit similar to Van Halen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Van Halen
also
vibes
because of the fact that singer he sang
yeah.
with Van Halen at
For one
point.
album, yeah.
True.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Huh.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Well, I will also check.
And they also their harmonies.
Yeah, and just the shreddy, like the guitar playing, like the guitar is like really front and center in like both those bands, you know.
Oh, of course. So there's a lot of like kind of guitar like soloing and stuff. It's all very guitar centric. That's awesome. I like that.
Yes.
I had one more question. I did a bit of lurking because before we have guests on, I check out their socials, check out their websites. You guys did or were gonna do a like 1 year anniversary performance of Heterochromia. I missed it unfortunately if it happened because I'm at work a lot. But how's you guys did that already?
Yeah.
How did it go? Like, tell me a bit about that. How did the performance go? Was any like logistical issues or like how did that work?
Well, I mean, we couldn't do something all together, sadly.
Yeah.
It just sort of doesn't work. So the easiest solution was just for me to play rhythm guitar and sing. Is the best way to translate the songs. You know, it's really hard to get something.
Oh, so it was just you.
Yeah, so it ended up just being me. For the time being, you know, we're trying to see if we can do more stuff together. That's why we're doing the whole covers thing, and we're working on a bunch of stuff like that. But for the live performance, it was just there was no way for us to get together and do it.
Fair enough.
So it ended up just being me playing some tunes for a bit.
How'd that go? Was it good? I'll watch it later.
Yeah,
It's online. I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, so it went well then.
Yeah, it went pretty well. Yeah, it was fun. I think we're probably gonna do more of that, and probably with more bands. We're thinking.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, do
That's
a little
cool.
online festival kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of the plan. Yeah.
Nice.
Message me.
You got it, man, for sure.
Be fun.
Yeah. Well, I
Cool.
think I've exhausted everything I want to ask these fine gentlemen. I don't know. Was there anything?
Yeah,
you
that was
wanted to ask
good.
Alex?
No, I think this was good. It was a productive conversation. I learned a lot about you guys, and I hope once COVID stops and once we're playing shows again that we can play together again.
Yeah, I'd
Whether
love to
you
link
guys
up again,
are-
boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if you have any plans ever to have you ever played outside of Quebec?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did
our
last summer.
last show
Area
was
or anything like that?
our last show was in Ottawa in December.
Oh, okay.
And we went to Toronto last summer.
In the summer, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, whether or not if you ever come to Hamilton or Toronto, you know, hit us up, or if we're coming to Quebec, we will do the same to you.
Yeah, man.
Any good places in Hamilton?
Well, yeah, Hamilton had a pretty bustling scene. Given the COVID situation, I'm not sure which venues are going to still be around, but if Doors Pub is still open, you're going to want to check that one out. Corktown is another one, and then the Casbah is probably the third one you're going to want to check out. But
Yeah, that's the top three.
yeah. There's options. So Hamilton's a good stop.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was there anything you guys wanted to plug or advertise at all? Just as we wrap up the final minutes.
Well, just, you know, we guess Heterochromia, you know, it's been 1 year since we released it. We did, you know, a couple things to celebrate it, so that'd be really cool. And I guess just the socials, you know, Lost Lighthouse Band on Instagram, Lost Lighthouse on Facebook. We have lostlighthouseband.com. We're going to be doing a bunch of covers and stuff, and we're going to start working on the album soon, so...
All right,
Bandcamp.
perfect.
There's going to be a
Bandcamp.
bunch more content coming up, like even within the next few days of just
Yeah.
stuff we're working on that we're going to be posting on Instagram and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Perfect. Send me all the links, and I'll put it in the episode description so everyone has access. Yeah. So I'm gonna say bye to everyone on the recording. Yeah.
Bye.
Say bye.